I have real issue with people that have backyards and dogs that they just put the dog in the backyard, or people say stuff like, I want to get a dog, but I don't have a backyard. Good. You don't need a backyard. That's the worst place for a dog. This is true. And dogs that are dealt with this way, what happens is they just, bad things really happen. They start jumping fences. Really, if you're gonna have if you have a backyard and have a dog, take your dog out. You don't leave it unattended. However, with that said, with Pharaoh, I purposely will bring him back here and leave him out here for short periods. Now, I'm not a nut. He's right by me right now. I'm not a nut. If I'm back here with the dogs and I gotta go inside and go to the bathroom or get something to drink, yeah, you know. My yard is all fenced in. It's the middle of the day. As far as like predators go, like birds of prey, he's a 10-pound dog and he's tall. You know, nobody's coming and picking up Pharaoh. You know, and as far as like coyotes go, foxes, shit like that, primarily nocturnal animals. I literally walk my fence daily to make sure that there's, you know, nothing going on. So on purpose, I will leave Pharaoh out here for like 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll put him out here with Mango or another dog and do this because that's his issue. He's bonded to me. He'll have separation anxiety if I leave. If I don't use the correct protocol and put like a bark collar on him, you know. So this is time that I know when he's back here, he doesn't freak out when he's not around me because he's so busy peeing on stuff and smelling everything. And, you know, do you understand what I'm saying? You need the separation anxiety dog to spend time alone. Don't leave him. I'm not saying leave him out in the backyard. That's not what you want to do. You want to let the dog out. This is what I do. I open the door. I don't even walk out with him. I just let him go out. And I go back in. I hang out inside for 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5. And then I go outside and hang out with him. It's time that he has to have alone, and I know that he's not going to flip out. I come outside, he's not stressed out, he hasn't been seeing me. He's bonded to me just like he's bonded to his mom and his aunt, probably his grandma. He's got a dad too, I'm sure it's the same thing. So it's time alone that Pharaoh has that I know I'm getting success. I could have him out here without any type of collar on. He's not going to stress out. He's not seeing me. He's too busy doing his shit. Sniffing, whatever he's doing, wherever he is. Do you understand? Don't leave your dog in a backyard. You don't need a backyard to have a dog. Dogs that are put in backyards end up having so many issues. Your dog is unattended. Bad things can happen. You should be outside monitoring the dog, making sure that, climbing fences, digging under fences. They do that kind of shit. Do you understand? Don't leave your dog unattended in a yard, but if you do have a separation anxiety dog and you do have a yard and your dog is like Pharaoh, like he could be alone for some time, keep it a few minutes at a time, then go out there and hang out with the dog. Just give him little bits and pieces of being alone. I hope that makes sense. I just gave Pharaoh a bath and he's filthy again. Sit. Pharaoh, heel. Come on, buddy. Pharaoh, over here, heel, buddy. Heel. No, heel. Sit. The baby man. Little tiny baby man. You're a good boy, dude. He's filthy again. Just filthy little freak. He is a freak and he is filthy. This is a gooseberry plant, and it really is. It's one of my favorite fruits. They're small. They're very sour. If you don't like sour fruit, you might not like a gooseberry. but it is. It's one of my favorites. And as soon as I bought these 2 plants and they got fruit on them, I tried it. I'm like, oh my God, why isn't this sold in stores? It lasts fairly long. It does have a shelf life. And I was told by somebody that lives in Great Britain that they do sell these like they sell other fruit in the United States, like gooseberries, sort of popular. I don't get it, man. They should have these on store shelves. They do. They last pretty long. You can refrigerate them. They last pretty long. I would have never been growing fruit trees. This is true. Well, this is a like bush or whatever. But I was dating this woman, Christy, and Christy wanted to go pick apples, and I was like, God, why do you want to go fucking pick apples? Why don't we just go buy them in a store? So they have this kind of shit up here, you know, for tourists. So we went and picked apples, and you know, it was all right. I'm not really a fan of apples, so you know, but it was okay. I remember ducking behind, like they had a row of like raspberries or something, ducking behind a row of raspberries like this, and I threw a rotten apple at her. This is true. That hit her in the back, but I did it with perfect timing so that when I was ducking behind the bush, a woman and her 2 kids were walking by. This is true. And Christy turned around and looked at him and goes, God, or something like that. And then I stood up from behind the bush laughing at her. It was a good time. It was. So I started, this is one of the, you know, fruits I planted right after that, because I was sort of into the fruit trees, and I was thinking my yard doesn't really have anything, and there are fruit trees that I'd like to eat the fruit, like cherries. You know, I got some peach trees back there, lots of pawpaws. I have probably 30 pawpaw trees. But this was the big surprise in that, you know, I did not know what to expect. I'd heard of gooseberries, of course, but, you know, do you ever see them on store shelves? No, they're sort of hard, like a hard grape, and they're sour, and they do last a long time in the fridge. It really is. It's my favorite fruit. I bought other things right after that, like I bought like raspberries that were up front. I just mowed those down and kept them down. It just was an inappropriate place to have them out there by the road. It was stupid. So now I just have cactus out there. I have prickly pear cactus, which grow like a weed. They grow in climates like this. I also bought something this was a few years ago. This is an 8-year-old bush, 9-year-old bush, something like that. When was I dating McCabe? I can't remember. A long time ago, about 8 years ago, something like that. Man, those gooseberries are good. This is a plant, a fruit that is related to the gooseberry somehow. It's not exactly alike. You know, it has different fruit. The leaves are very similar. It's the same family. I might even pollinate gooseberries, I don't know. But this is not a gooseberry. What this is these are currants. And I didn't know what a currant was when I was a kid. Somebody said, like, was talking about currant jelly or something. I asked my mother, I said, well, Mom, what's a currant? Like, just, you know, she described it. This is how she described it. She said, well, think of it sort of like a grape, but it's real sour. I don't really care for them. That's what she said. I didn't really see it as anything like a grape. You know, what am I going to do with them? I don't know. They are sort of sour, but I will eat them off these are not ripe. This one's red. It's not objectionable, I'll tell you that. I like them. They're good. Not as delicious as the gooseberry, though. But, anyway. Christy McCabe taking me, you know, she liked to do stuff like that, where I don't like to do anything. You know, I really don't. I didn't want to go, but I had an all right time throwing the apple at her. I'm more like, I'd rather just stay around the house, you know. When I was talking to my friend Jinian, told her about that. You know, had this fantasy that I'd go on trips. You know, like I see those commercials for sandals, and I'm like, oh, you know, if I didn't have all these animals, I'd go down there and do that. I probably wouldn't, you know. I wouldn't. I can't. I have Remy. I'd never leave Remy or, you know, I just, anyway. Oh my God. Those are fucking great. By the way, these gooseberries, I don't know if I deal with them appropriately. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I've never like trimmed them up or anything. So that they sort of go out onto the ground. So to keep them off the ground, what I do is I put deer antlers underneath them to sort of prop them up. It works. But with that said, if you're growing gooseberries and you don't have this problem because you trim them up or something, you know, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just put them on the ground. That's it. After the fruit's gone, these things really go to shit. Like, they start looking real shabby, as I remember. Yeah, I think, like, the leaves drop. They look sort of, like, nasty looking. And then they come back every spring. It's one of the first plants that starts getting leaves. They're awesome. I do. I really like these. They're really tasty. If you see these, you know, these plants at the nursery, get them. You don't have to really do anything to them. Other than, like, if you want to eat the fruit, you want to keep the fruit off the ground. Try that. Just put some deer antler under it. You can use anything. Oh my God. This is the part of my yard and spring and summer that I like, is that I can just come outside and just start eating fruit. You know, there'll be times I'll be driving up here, it'll be late at night. Maybe the Dandy's closed or I can't get to Walmart, whatever. And I'm starving, I'll go back there and start eating plums. Whatever's on the trees. Oh my God. They are really good. Tasty.